Water as fuel, the clean energy idea that could cost us everything. The idea sounds elegant on the surface. Take water, split it into its molecular components, harvest the energy, and power the world without smoke, soot, or carbon choking the sky. Hydrogen fuel cells, electrolysis, clean exhaust, just water vapor drifting back into the atmosphere like nothing was ever taken. Here's how it works. Water is 2 hydrogen atoms bound to 1 oxygen atom. By applying electricity through a process called electrolysis, those bonds can be separated. Hydrogen becomes the energy carrier. When hydrogen is later recombined with oxygen in a fuel cell, energy is released and water is formed again. On paper, it looks like a perfect loop. Clean input, clean output, no black sludge, no tailpipes coughing death. This is this. Water-based energy promises a future without fossil fuel extraction scars, without oil spills, without carbon stacking heat into the atmosphere. It feels like technological maturity, using the most abundant substance on Earth to solve the biggest crisis humans have ever created. But systems do not exist in isolation. And water is not just a molecule. Water is life's operating system. Every plant cell, every bloodstream, every river ecosystem, every weather pattern is already balanced on a razor-thin margin of availability. When humans talk about using water, we are talking about redirecting the same water that feeds crops, sustains wildlife, stabilizes climate cycles, and keeps entire regions habitable. And history tells us exactly what happens when human incentives touch water. Droughts do not always begin with the sky refusing rain. Many begin with hands refusing restraint. The Aral Sea is one of the clearest warnings. Once the 4th largest lake on Earth, it was diverted for agricultural ambition. Rivers were rerouted to feed cotton production. The water didn't disappear, it was used. What followed was ecological collapse. Fisheries died, toxic dust storms rose from the exposed seabed, regional climates shifted, and species vanished. Human need did not create balance. It created devastation. The Colorado River tells a quieter but equally dangerous story. Over-allocation, damming, and extraction have reduced a once mighty river to a managed resource stretched thin across competing interests. Entire ecosystems downstream have adapted to absence. Some did not survive it. Mesopotamia, cradle of civilization, collapsed under salinized soil from irrigation mismanagement. The water fed growth, and then it fed collapse. These are not ancient mistakes. They are recurring patterns. Now imagine adding energy markets to that equation. Water, once priced, becomes hoarded. Once hoarded, it becomes weaponized. Corporations block waterways. Rivers are dammed not for agriculture or flood control, but for fuel harvesting. Entire watersheds are monetized. Efficient use becomes justification. Optimization becomes extraction. The droughts that follow do not announce themselves immediately. They appear as reduced flow, then stressed fish populations, then crop instability, then migration, then conflict. Water wars do not begin with armies. They begin with contracts. I understand the intention. Water feels abundant. It feels free. And in order to sustain life, it must remain functionally free. The moment survival resources carry speculative value, human behavior shifts. History shows this over and over again. Scientists could calculate total planetary water volume. They could estimate renewable cycling rates. They could define a theoretical, safe usage threshold. But human systems rarely obey theoretical limits once profit enters the room. Every threshold becomes a target. Every margin becomes opportunity. Judging by previous human behavior, this path carries a risk that rivals, or exceeds, the damage of fossil fuels. Fossil fuels poison air and climate. Water commodification destabilizes life itself. When you talk about changing the molecular structure of water to power civilization, you are talking about removing water from every living system on Earth: humans, animals, fish, forests, soil, atmosphere. The chain reaction does not stop at the point of extraction. It cascades through ecosystems that evolved around consistent presence. Clean exhaust does not equal clean consequence. The energy crisis demands solutions that respect biological limits, social behavior, and long-term stability. Sustainability means systems that remain viable even when humans behave imperfectly, because they always do. Water as fuel looks clean. It feels clever. It sounds hopeful. But if you follow it all the way through, past the lab, past the pitch deck, past the press release, it risks accelerating ecological collapse faster than climate change alone ever could. Put a price tag on water, and scarcity becomes strategy. Scarcity becomes conflict. Conflict becomes extinction. We cannot afford that. Some ideas fail not because they are technologically impossible, but because they ignore who we are, and what life actually requires to continue. And water is not fuel. It is the condition that makes fuel, life, and civilization possible at all.
We are one.